Shout out to Artlist for sponsoring this video. This light shaping tool is the kind of product that can instantly elevate your work. And I know everyone says that on YouTube, right? But I'm being for real. Being able to sculpt and shape light in an infinite amount of ways can bring an edginess to your work that will allow you to stand out. See that window projection right there behind me? I'm using a Godox SA17 light projector, which I've made countless videos on, and I love that thing. But the Lindsay Adler optical spot addresses some of the biggest limitations and issues that I have with the Godox projector, but at the same time, it isn't perfect. The biggest flaw with the Godox SA17 is right in here. It is a Bowens mount, but look, there's not much space in there. Since I am a Westcott FG400 strobe user, it won't mount. Let's go to an LED light. This is a Godox RGB light. The bulb is too big. Again, look. And with the optical spot, I could fit my whole fist in here. There's so much room. I can't imagine there's a Bowens mount light that this is not gonna attach to. Like nothing, bam. And I can fit it right onto my Godox RGB light. The optical spot can mount to any strobe, any LED light that I have in the studio, making it a more versatile option.
The LED is not powerful enough. That's one of the biggest benefits, being able to put it on my FJ400 strobe, and now I'm gonna have a lot more power using this light, and then I could use the modeling lamp to kind of like frame her and find my composition.
Unlike the Godox SA17, the optical spot has light scrims built directly into the unit itself, and that means that I can't accidentally misplace them around the studio like I have with the Godox. And since they're built in, it makes it a lot easier to use and shape the light. On the Godox, it can be more difficult because it has a lot of different screws and contact points that you gotta get around and work around. On top of that, these scrims do not come in the box. You have to buy them separately. And one of the most annoying things about it is that unit, when you use it with an LED, it gets so hot to the touch and it will burn you if you're trying to use it mid-shoot. So you have to wait for it to cool down, and that also slows down the workflow a little bit.
Over your shoulder, higher, right there. Another shape that you can do, just creating a slit of light. I'm gonna have her half in, half out. Yep, just like that. Chin down, eyes up, open. Move more to your left, right there, now chin up.
We are going to take a super short break. I'm gonna tell you about my sponsor for today's video, and that's Artlist. So 3 years ago, my YouTube channel with 60,000 subscribers was permanently demonetized because I kept using copyrighted music on my videos. That's a true story. With Artlist, you have a large library of royalty-free music and sound effects that you can use without having to worry if you can actually use it. One thing that really stood out to me about Artlist was how easy it was to find a song that fit the mood of my video, because I have spent hours in the past looking and looking for that perfect song on other platforms. Now it's super easy to navigate. You can download songs instantly and get recommendations for similar songs right at the click of a button. Artlist also has a new personal plan where you can get their annual subscription for as low as $9.99 a month or $14.99 for their monthly subscription. Now check out the link in the description box. And if you sign up through that link, you will get an additional 2 months for free. What are you waiting for?
So, another disadvantage of using the Godox, and this is actually like a pro and a con. Here is where you insert the gobo for the Godox. And the thing that I do like about it, that it fits nice and snug in there. The bad part about this is that when you have an LED running on for a long time, this gets extremely hot. You will burn the skin off your hand if you touch it. So you gotta wait for it to cool down. With the Westcott, for example, there isn't much pressure here. You know, it's actually a huge gap. So this is a big one. The lenses that are supplied in the box, the optical spot comes with 150 millimeter lens, creating a very narrow beam, and you can focus and defocus it, just turning the barrel, but it is a very narrow beam. So if you have a small studio, this could be limiting. You know what I'm saying? But I have a larger studio, I can back it up really far and I could, you know, get a decently wide projection. With the Godox, it comes with an 85mm lens, and it's very versatile because the lens on here is kind of unique. Extend it and get a similar projection to the optical spot, but then if I push it all the way in, I can get a much wider projection than this one. And with the Godox SA17, they have like a little ecosystem of lenses. So this is a 60mm wide lens if you want a wider projection. And then they also have 150mm, which is gonna give you a small projection like this one. As I put the 150mm on, I forgot that I never really liked this one. There's a lot of light leak. You see how it has like, it shows like a halo and a ring. Never worked really well for me. That's why I never used it. So I wouldn't recommend buying this one. And then when you push it all the way in, there's light leak here. Now, to counter that, the optical spot has a Canon EF mount so that if you have Canon EF lenses, you can also attach them to here and use them to get a wider projection. The only problem is, if you're not a Canon shooter or never were a Canon shooter, you don't have Canon EF lenses laying around, that could be an issue. So I did what any other non-Canon shooter would probably do and buy the $100 Nifty 50.
The 50mm is gonna give you a much wider projection compared to the 150mm. Just don't get the STM version like I did, because you're not gonna be able to properly focus it if it's not connected to a Canon body, or else you're gonna have to force it in and out like I'm doing here. When using the gobos, I like how easy and fast I can change them out on the optical spot compared to the Godox, where I have to unscrew the top part every time I want to change one out. But I do like how I don't have to worry about it falling out as easy. Now, all the gobos from both brands are pretty much interchangeable, and you will soon find out that they're not very cheap at all when you're trying to purchase them. But I do like the Westcott gobos more. Maybe that's because Lindsay Adler has something to do with that. My final thoughts on both of these units, and full disclosure, I paid for the Godox SA17 and all the lenses and accessories that came with it. The optical spot was sent to me for free, but with no strings attached, no expectations. You can get the Godox SA17 for about $300, give or take. They range with some of the gobos and the gel sheets. The optical spot is $500, and you get a gobos, gel sheets, carrying case. I can personally recommend both of these units if you want to start getting creative with lighting. But for me, there's certain things you cut corners with and certain things you don't. The optical spot has a much better, more thought out design. The two things that I dislike the most about the Godox unit are not an issue with the optical spot, and that is the small mount, limiting what lights I can use it with in this entire studio, and how scorching hot it gets when you're using it with LEDs. I shouldn't need a hand towel to swap out the gobos mid-shoot. So for now, I'll be using my Godox unit for video purposes to create that window projection behind me. All right, hope this video helped. That's all I have for now, and I'm on to the next one.